locked in, so it's going to be Ezreal Nunu. Is that going to be a switch lane? Are they going to go for that? They've got Olaf in there.
It very well could be. Nothing here has played a whole heap of 1v2 lanes in this entire tournament. It used to be with Cho'Gath. Olaf would be perfect for that, and it's great for them to pick Olaf away from Chris because he had played Olaf 4 games in a row before this.
And there we have Ari and Cho'Gath locked in there. So Cho'Gath probably, is this going to be top lane? This is going to be jungle Cho'Gath because Chris plays Shen top.
That's probably it. The only game this tournament we've seen Chris on Shen, he completely dominated. It was the home guard boots to go in with the Maokai initiation. He just zoom in once he stand united in. That's exactly what I'd expect. Jungle Cho'Gath for JD Wu should be really strong for him. He plays a lot of it in solo queue. He hasn't played it yet this tournament, but it's actually interesting that one of them has picked Cho'Gath because he's been the 3rd most played champion. Neither of these teams have picked or banned him the whole time.
Wow, so they have managed to rely on that one. You can see Rise was the final pick, chat. Take us through these teams. What are you seeing between Dirtnap Gaming and Azure?
So, for Azure, it's going to be about Demon Lil and Bloodwater. It's Demon Lil's job to kill everything, and that's the way that Azure plays this. Everything's going to be about supporting him. Nocturne Gang should be bottom. Everything should be trying to help him out. You look over at Dirtnap Gaming, and they have a very balanced team comp, so to speak. They have a tank line, they have a back line. They're just going to look for standard execution of team fights. They have good initiation and good disengage. It's a very normal comp.
Yeah, and it's interesting, you know, before this tournament began, they were desperately looking for an AD carry. It was a last chance saloon. They found Demon Lol, who everybody thought had stopped playing. It's like you were asking, you were trying to get research on this guy. He's like, well, I don't think he plays anymore, does he?
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't that social of a guy when he played League in the first place, when he was on Team Legion, but he was close with his own teammates, with Prawley and with Lauda Mortis, and I talked with both of those guys and said, is Demon Lol on a team? Because at this time he actually wasn't, and they said, I don't know what happened to that guy. Yeah, he went to finish high school. He said he was going to focus on it, and he hasn't been playing. Then we heard that Azure has picked him up because their AD carry couldn't make it, and he's just crushed. He hasn't missed a beat.
He hasn't missed a beat. He's been fantastic. You can see them on the screens behind us. The teams are ready. The nerves are probably jangling, I suspect. It is game 1, of course, of the North American Season 3 qualifiers. The last chance Sunday, as we call it. And you can see straight away on the screen behind us, there was a pause at the beginning, just sorting out the peripherals. Don't expect these guys to get the mouse, the keyboards. Everything's got to be right. Everything just has to be perfect for this. How do you practice? I mean, you've been to these tournaments. How do you set yourself up? You psych yourself up. You've got to get used to the conditions of being basically not in your own chair. I mean, everyone at home watching this right now, you're sat in your comfy chair that you've probably played thousands of games of League of Legends in. You're sat on a mouse and keyboard that you've used constantly. How do you make sure the conditions are exactly right for you?
Well, the nice thing about these machines is you can pre-save your settings for every time you jump in. So they've had 3 days. This is their 3rd day now playing on the same machines, that they should start to get their comfort level back on. Aside from that, you just try to make sure your mouse and keyboard are at the same height, and if they're not, just get used to them. You bring your own mouse and keyboard for one, and you make sure you're not on wireless, because that screws you up. But we're getting back into the game now.
Definitely do not go on wireless. So, if you just joined us, it is going to be Dirtnap Gaming, first game of the day versus Azure Gaming. Dirtnap Gaming on your screens there as the blue team and Azure as the red team in the top right-hand corner, chat. We have not seen a great deal of level 1 fights apart from Curse. Curse were the only team that said, you know what, we can invade and we will invade.
Actually, the first 2 games of the entire tournament with Azure, they went all 5 up into the top brush near the lane, which is actually kind of where 4 of them are going now. Not the one in there, but the one just to the left of it that would be able to sneak in for a delayed blue invade, but it appears with that ward that was placed over the Baron buff, Dirtnap Gaming's not going to allow that to happen.
Yeah, so we can see Dirtnap Gaming, they do get the wards down, and standard placing. Profit's going to go very early in the ward there. And he manages to place it down. I think everybody's quite happy, satisfied with that. They're just going to back out.
Looks like the defensive formations coming up for all of these teams. I wonder where or if they're going to do lane swaps, because you can see some posturing and some pinging. Looks like nothing here is ready to go up top lane. All 5 members of Dirtnap Gaming are prepared because 4 members of Azure are sitting straight on top of a ward, but Dirtnap Gaming is sitting on top of a ward as well. If they run for this, they'll know they're coming.
Minions have spawned.
Everybody sat there. Are they going to go? Is this going to be? I mean, they're all sat on both of them. They're just. It's like anyone that goes anywhere, they're going to know it. So neither team that leads the advantage. But we do see that Chris is down by the blue. So we do have a lane swap already signified for Dirtnap Gaming here.
And if anything gets the advantage off of both teams standing straight on top of wards, This is just a standoff. It's 2 minutes into the game.
It's a
right?
late invade for
Neither
Dirtnap
team
Gaming.
wants to move.
They are they going to go? They're stuck. Yeah, we're 2 minutes 3. The minions are fighting in the middle right now. Nobody is actually attacking. It is a really, really late invade here from Dirtnap Gaming. They're going for it. They're going around to the red buff, but they are well aware of this, and you can see everybody's set up, ready, and waiting. They've just put the ward on the red there. I think they heard the ward go down.
Both teams got scared, essentially, after that. They realized that there's no way they'd wait that long without them having vision of us, and I think they both just kind of figured it out in their heads that both of them ended up being sat on top of ward the entire time. Finally, DJ Lamb was going to be able to take his red buff, but everyone in this game is going to be a little bit behind, aside from Chris's Shen, who got to lane in time.
And JD Woo's going to have to take a lot of damage here. He's going to have to use the smite on that blue, or he's going to get incredibly low. There's the smite goes down. He's just picked up the blue. So, Prolly versus Shouster in the mid here. Ari versus Rise.
This is a counter pick in essence. Rise, especially late game, is extremely good against Ari. You throw that Rune Prison down, and you stop Ari from being mobile. She's usually pretty squishy. You can just burst her down in those instances. In the early lane, Ari can shove Rise back, so it's on Shousters to keep himself going so he can take over from Prolly late game.
So the top lane is a duo lane right now between the two. You can see Echo Prophet on Graves and Sona. He's played Graves the entire tournament. I think Demon Law and Bloodwater. Demon Law got the pentakill on Ezreal, I recall, earlier on in the tournament as well. How do you compare these two?
I mean, Demon Law has played 4 different AD carries in his 5 games, but by far his best game was on Ezreal, so it's good that they got him on that pick once again. He needs to carry. They're going to want to dive him. He's got to stick there. As for the lane, I got to give the slight advantage to Dirtnap Gaming. Sona is going to be able to out-sustain Lulu, and they both have similar poke. Since it's not a 2v1 kind of super lane shove, Lulu loses her slight advantage in that case.
Well, down the bottom, it is going to be nothing here versus Chris. That is Olaf versus Shen. We do also see the jungle was close by, but he's going to go off to the red buff, so no ganks coming out there, and Shadow Dash immediately missing out towards nothing here, but you can see the burst back and forward. How's that going to transcend between the levels? We do see DJ Lambo just waiting in the wings on Prolly here as well. Just going to wait and see if he goes for anything. No. So let's go back to bottom and talk about that.
I almost might have Voyboy goggles on here, but I feel like Olaf has been destroying in most of this tournament. I think, at least in the early lane, that's good for him as they fight.
Echo getting caught out there. He's had to use the flash and the cleanse. There's going to be the flash from Prophet as well. So bunch of summoner spells all burnt out there. Echo did get the bookshot back, but immediately that's going to open them up for ganks. And you can see DJ Lambo, he is in that top lane ready and waiting. He may go for this one. But yeah, Chris has kind of had a struggle, but he's been strong on Shen. DJ Lambo is going to sneak into the bush in this top lane.
Yeah, and with both flashes burned for Echo and Prophet, all DJ Lambo would have to do is flash on top of Sona and get a Fear Tether, and it would guarantee a kill. So if he can sneak into that next brush and just be patient, they would get a kill in this lane. It's just a matter of how cautious Dirtnap Gaming is going to be and if they're going to allow Nocturne to get in flash range. Because of the size of the wave and because it's pushing the tower, DJ Lambo decides it's not worth his time.
It's not worth it. He's got the Siege Minion there. Really, they're just going to try and keep them away from the Siege Minion. And now that we're in Season 3, you know, that Siege Minion, the fact that it's at 40 plus gold, look at that, Chris
he missed it!
Smashed down, and that's what he was doing. He's just forcing them away from that Siege Minion.
It's like a mini game because it's worth twice as much as a regular minion. You miss the Siege Minion, you're just like, wanted that. But he couldn't get it, and he's getting beaten pretty bad here by nothing here in the bottom lane, 35-22. That's one of the things about Shen. He actually isn't that much of an early game lane bully, and he really needs to wait until he gets that health to maximize his key strike, his passive scaling. With max health, he's got to get Sunfire Cape and pretty much a Warmogs before he can think about fighting nothing here.
And he keeps trying to go for those max length Shadow Dashes. He's not quite landing, trying to catch him within tower distance, but Prolly, meanwhile, in the mid lane, he has a slight CS advantage over Shouster, over so slightly, though. How do we see between the first items that everybody picked up? We see a bunch of Crystalline Flasks. We see a Philo Stone early on as well. Oh, Rupture down the bottom there, catching on towards nothing here. Gets the Ignite down. It could well be first blood here. JD Wu just wants one more hit. Chris, could he go for a full-length Shadow Dash? Escape, he's going to go for it, he is going to get it, and that was Chris that picked it up. I think JD Wu was kind of holding off. It's like, are you going to get this kill or not?
Chris really didn't want to have to burn his flash to finish off nothing here, but in the end, he realized he was going to escape unless he did. He made sure he had enough energy for his Vorpal Spike when he flashed in, and they were able to secure a kill. That was a well-timed gank by JD Wu. He realized nothing here was pushing up, being a little bit over-aggressive, and he punished him for it. We saw a lot of this yesterday, actually, when the solo laners were getting pushed to the lane. Early on, junglers came and camped, waited for them to get over-aggressive, and maybe that'll swing that bottom lane.
So we see the ultimates now available for the two mid laners.
Ooh, Chris has Chris has home guard boots and his ultimate up right now. They might try for some kind of crazy gank. He's just sitting on his base, waiting to ult in on something. He really wants to go with Ahri for a tower dive.
Okay, they're going to go up towards the top. Meanwhile, Giant spell down the bottom. Here we go. Stan United coming in from Prolly. He's going to come dashing in, straight in towards the tower. Oh, he shot his load far too early.
They just smelled it coming, it seems. Ahri was missing. They thought maybe it was going to be a three-man game coming up top, and Demon Law and Bloodwater just preemptively went away.
Well,
that's a lot burned for not much.
That was a lot burned, and that was simply a case of, we saw that Prolly had gone towards the top there. I mean, Prolly didn't really need to be there, but they have still got the four-man stack at the top, but they are going to back off, and that was, like you say, Stan United burned.
They were hoping to get the Stan United in without vision. I think that's why they decided to come in for it, but just great preemptive backing, as now you see a four-man shove up mid by Azure, and I don't know if Dirt Nap Gaming can hold this. This could be the first turn of the game.
This is a great response from Azure as well. They knew that something was coming, and they've immediately reacted to it, knowing that everybody would back off. There's a rupture across everyone. You expect the silence to hit everyone as well. It does, but they had all backed away. Wave was cleared, and it's a good clearance method, and it means that Dirt Nap Gaming are going to get the first tower.
Good push up top by Dirt Nap. I mean, I guess the Shen ult with the Ahri roam did end up paying them a tower. Even though it just forced them back, it didn't give them the kill, but it did create the pressure, and the early kill up top. We got to see where Sona goes next, as we see JD Wu invading red.
JD Wu comes around. DJ Lambo managed to smite it away there. The smite fight wasn't going to happen. He didn't have smite available. He did have Fiso, which is why JD Wu was coming around. Didn't happen, though.
Surprising that JD Wu hasn't went for boots yet on Cho'Gath. Oftentimes we see these Cho'Gaths rush boots mobility.
Probably ulti. Gone in towards Shouster, tries to put the damage down, gets the ignite, trying to force him away from the turret. They've got a four-man stack on this turret, Jat, and there's nobody really around to react to this one. They have a two-man defensive team, but Shouster's already at half health. They're just trying to hit the minions as quick as they can. They're burning down the turret. Prolly's tanking it up. You can see Echo, he could do a little bit more damage, backs away.
So both of these teams have traded four-man stacks in the middle lane, trying to get as much middle turret damage as they can. Looks like Dirt Nap Gaming got a little bit more than Azure did on their push. Now I think they're just going to go back up top and try to stop Demon Law from farming, because that's going to be the key. Keeping Demon Law down so he can't kill everything as he wants to do.
Probably going to pick up the blue buff, but he needs to come back and try and defend this mid-range turret. You can see that JD Wu's also going to come around. He should be able to clear out this wave. It has got the siege minion in there, though, so there's a bunch of damage going to come down. JD Wu is going to be the bully and force them away. Prolly's going to pick up the gold. Missed the key minion, though.
And will they be able to do anything in this bottom lane? When you rush the home guard boots like that, you're really giving away a lot of combat ability, because you can see nothing here. He's got 1,700 health.
Top lane.
Chris only got 1,100.
They're going in, they're trying to get on towards Echo. They do manage to get the squirrel on him, but Demon Law immediately exhausted. Oh, Prolly, Echo's down. Echo is down. Beautiful. Caught him with the tree shot barrage. Could turn this into a double kill. Bloodwater comes in, takes the tower hit. Demon Law picks up a double.
He's got to put his team on his back and just go for it, because he has been the reason they've won the 2 games that they have won this tournament. There's a gank mid with
Mid lane on
Shouster.
towards Shouster. He's going to get caught out. It's JD Wu that picks it up after a nice chomping feast down on him. He's going to be happy with that one.
It's a matter of Shouster still trying to farm, even though his turret had been taken down in the mid lane. Really just got out-roamed by the bootless Cho'Gath, so really good positioning by JD Wu. We know that Prolly joined this team, Dirt Nap Gaming, because he loves JD Wu's jungling style, and he says it's very hard for him to find a jungler that he actually likes. It's one of the reasons they like each other there.
It's one of the reasons he came in, and Prolly farming out quite happily. He's now 10 CS ahead. He will pick up the siege minion, and now he's going to head off seemingly round towards the blue. He's going to probably ward that one up. He has got a ward on him. So, yep, he's going to ward out towards the blue. Realizing, of course, he's taken that mid turret down, so taking a lot of advantages down, starting to set up for a possible dragon later on.
And they could also be setting up for a possible kill on Echo and Prophet, knowing that they have both of those. Oh, here comes the Shen ult and Prolly.
Stan United on towards Prolly. He uses ultimate towards DJ Lambo. Chris is going to go across, misses the taunt though. Stan United was used to get into this position. Of course, the home guard boots would have been available as well, but it doesn't matter. They are all just going to back away from this one. The duo lane had come down to help out, and now here comes nothing here. He picks up one. There's going to be the true shot barrage flashing across the 2 of them. Can Shouster manage to land the broom prison on towards JD Wu? No, they're going to back away. They realize that collateral damage was available. Echo had just come down as well as Crescendo.
And this is a sweet spot for DJ Lambo on Nocturne, even though he doesn't have health. No one has flash to get away from his paranoia if he decides to gank a lane with it. As it is now, though, everyone on Dirt Nap Gaming is low. They're going to have a hard time holding this turret.
They're going to have a hard time indeed. It's a 4-4. They need to wipe out those waves as quick as possible, which they are doing. That turret is still low enough, but they're not really at the level. We're still only at level 6 and 7s, so nobody can really tank the turrets out yet.
Appears though that turret will live for another day. There's a large wave up top that Azure Gaming has to go clear out. They're going to make sure Demon Low gets more and more farm. He's going to be their hard carry, and